All right. Good evening, everyone. Boys and girls. Wow, welcome everyone to this Zoom webinar tonight. It's a very lovely Thursday evening. So how's everyone doing? While waiting for the other participants to come in, you guys can leave on say hello to me in the chat box. Hi, Cheryl. Oh, hi. Hi, Jasmine. Good evening. Hey, long time. Hello, Junie. Wow, I see a lot of highs. Hello, hello. Good evening, good evening. Hui Ling, Xin Yi. Good evening, EC. Yep. Let's give some time for the rest of the participants to join. All right. Hi, Sun Xian, Cheryl, Evangeline, hello. Hi, Shen Yan. Nice to see all of you. I believe most of the names I'm quite familiar. Okay, all right. So how's everyone doing? I'm sure all of you must be very happy, right? Since it's a school holidays. Am I right? Good evening, teacher. I'm not a teacher, by the way. Okay, so can let me know what you guys do during the school holidays. Hi, Hui Chua. Yep. Fantastic. Doing nothing. Doing nothing. Most of you say, oh, doing nothing, watch TV. Just relax. Oh, I can see like most of you just chill and relax during the holidays, right? Reading. I see some of you reading. That's good. That's good. Play Roblox. Wow. Cycling. Shenshu, you cycle. That's very good. Okay. All right. So for this session, right, I hope all of you have already taken your dinner because we do not hope you guys to learn on your empty stomach. Okay, because will be lots of wonderful sharing to everyone here. Okay, so make sure you grab some food. All right. Okay, let me introduce myself first. I'm Qing Ying, the host for tonight sharing, and you can call me Butterfly 姐姐 or in Chinese we call 蝴蝶姐姐. Okay, so in order we can keep this session about a little more interactive, you guys can actually give me the drop a chat in the comments so I can know you guys are all right. Is that cool? Okay. Okay, right. Thank you. All right. So I would like to once again thank you everyone for joining us, and we are honored to have our dear deworming Dr. Carmen, who was previously serving in the medical department in Hospital Seremban as well as Hospital Port Dickson. So currently she is a medical doctor from AMC Clinic, and she's here tonight to share with everyone about deworming and get everyone to kickstart your deworming journey. All right, are you ready for it? Woo! Okay, so if any one of you here or any school friend of yours, they have any experience that they don't feel like eating or very itchy at the backside, or they say like, hey, recently feeling always tired. Yeah, there might be signs that they've gotten worms infection in their body. Whoa. Hi, Xinyi. Yeah. Does this still sounds like very scary? No, not really. Okay, so without further ado, let us all welcome Dr. Carmen to share with everyone about deworming. Let's welcome her.
Hi everyone, good evening. I'm Dr. Carmen. So I'm currently a medical doctor in AMC Clinic, as Butterfly Titi has mentioned. So today I'll be sharing with you guys on a little bit about different types of worms, what are the symptoms, and then how you can prevent it. Okay? So shall I share my screen now or?
Yep, you can share your screen.
Okay.
I see all the participants, they are very excited for Dr. sharing.
Okay. So a little bit of introduction, right? So parasitic infections are actually among the most common infections in humans caused by a group of parasites, or commonly referred to as worms. So that's why improving basic hygiene, right, sanitization, health education, and also providing access to safe drinking water and also keys to resolving health and also nutritional problems caused by these worms, right? So how many types of worms or parasites are you aware of? I'll just give 30 seconds to the audiences to, give an answer, give a guess, have a guess. Is it 5 types? Is it 10 types? Or is it 100 types? Four, 6, I see 20. Wow. That's a lot of guesses.
Around 4, 6. Wow, there's one say 20.
Say 20. What is, there's one answer, 6,066, 666. Yeah, so there are actually about 10 types of worms, right? But of course, including their different species, it can go up to about 100 types. But of course, we're not going to talk about 100 types of worms today. So mainly, I'm going to talk about 4 types of worms, right? So mainly, there are pinworms, hookworm, tapeworm, and also roundworms. Okay, so we will go through them one by one, very, very briefly, with some pictures. So hopefully you guys are okay with it. Okay, so the first one will be pinworm. Okay, so pinworms are actually very tiny and also very narrow. They are white in color and they're very, very short, half an inch long only, which is about probably 0.3 cm, right? And one of the examples is Enterobius vermicularis. This just to share with you guys the name of the pinworm, and this is just one of the examples. So next we go to hookworm, right? You can see this, the white color-ish worms over here, and this is actually our tissues, our intestines and all that. So hookworms, they are very, very fragile parasites. So they need moist and also loamy soil, with tropical or subtropical climate, such as, in Malaysia to survive. And they are about 1/8 of inches long. So probably about 0.3 or 0.1 cm long-ish. And one of the examples is Ankylostoma duodenale. Next, we go to tapeworm. So as you can see from the picture, right, it is very flat. It is very elongated, right? And it's very segmental. You can see this, like boxes is what you call as segmental, right? And tapeworms, they colonize mainly in our intestine. And tapeworms are very, very long. It can go up to about 8 inches long, which is about 20 cm, right? And one of the examples is Tinea saginata. Okay, and then the fourth one, we go to roundworm. So as the name suggests, so it is round and also it is cylindrical in structure and it is usually bisexual. So one of the names is Toxocara canis. Okay, now that you know a little bit of these characteristics of worms, so how do you think the worms get into our system? What is their mode of transmission? So the most common way of becoming infected by these parasites is by ingesting raw or uncooked pork or even other meats, or even contaminated food, water, or even vegetables. So besides ingestion, it can also penetrate to our skin, through wounds and also cuts. So which is why we always advise, especially the children or the younger ones, not to walk barefoot, when you step on your garden, because you will never know what is in the soil, right? So if you accidentally cut yourself, this kind of worms might get into your body through the wounds. And then thirdly is person-to-person transmission. What does it mean by that? So let's say person A, he goes to the toilet, after finishing his business, he never wash his hands. And then, you go and welcome him, you go and shake his hand, and bam, that's how you get the infection. So this is what this is named as person-to-person transmission. Okay, so what symptoms?
You are right, 传染. It means 传染.
Yeah, 传染, yes. So person-to-person transmission basically 人与人之间的传染. Yeah. So what symptoms can one develop if he or she is infected with this parasitic infection? So first and foremost is definitely diarrhea, right? You get loose stools, watery stools, and then you get stomach ache and vomiting. Your diarrhea sometimes may be bloody as well. And then you will get fever with associated with chills and rigors, 冷到发抖, that kind of symptoms. And then some may have headaches, and then some may have cough and even bloody cough. So all these are symptoms which may mean that you may be infected with this parasitic infection. So why are we so worried that you are infected with this helminth infection? What are the complications? How can these worms affect our bodies? So first and foremost, we have to understand that, once these worms get into our body, to put it simple, these worms will feed on our blood, right? So in the long run, it will cause our intestinal bleed. So for example, stomach bleed or intestinal bleed, as mentioned, because, worms, they colonize in our intestine. So in the long run, it can cause intestinal bleed. So when there is chronic blood loss in our body, it will cause anemia. Anemia means there is a decreased, lower volume of our red blood cells. So the complication of anemia will affect our growth, right? So causing delayed growth or even delayed developmental, or worse, malnutrition. So WHO actually recommends preventive chemotherapy, right, as a public health strategy in endemic areas. So the greatest challenge is reaching all at-risk individuals. So thus it should begin early in life, as early as preschool children. So preschool children means aging from 1 year old to 4 years old. And then we go to school children, 5 to 12 years old, and then and so on. So I have a few preventive advices. So as we all know, contaminated food and also water pose an infection risk, right? So take adequate hygiene and also food and also water precautions. So wash your hands with soap and also water before eating and after using the bathroom, and after direct contact with the preschool age children, animals, or even feces. And then third, avoid eating raw salad, raw food in fact, right? Unpeeled raw fruits or even uncooked vegetables, because all these are the risk factors. So best to eat food that is served hot and also fully cooked, right? Fruits that has been washed in clean waters, and then they are nicely peeled, and also avoid drinking directly from the tap water, or even you use the tap water to make ice or for cooking, right? Try to avoid all this, and also avoid contact with water that may be contaminated with sewage, feces, or wastewater runoff. And lastly, to prevent hookworms, in fact, to prevent other worms, avoid walking barefoot in areas, like I mentioned just now, because hookworm is commonly found, and there may be human feces contaminated soil. So yeah, so that is all for me.
I see, Doctor. Oh, speaking about just now in the previous, you mentioned about the complications, right? Of infection. There's one questions from Cheryl. She asked that will we die if we infected?
Okay, the thing is, when you get infected, right? So you start developing all these symptoms. This is why it is very important to consult a doctor, because it can be treated. All these parasitic infection, they can be treated, right? So don't think everything can be treated by Panadol. So, if you feel that, something is not right, always consult a doctor. It can be treated. Don't worry, you won't die.
Yeah, so okay, thank you, Doctor. And as we have another very cute participant, Lim Ke-shen. She asked about, can the worm be in the water? Because you mentioned about the uncle. Yeah,
yes, correct. Okay, good question. So, okay, you can really see the worms in your food or in your water, right? And because they're so small, right? Because I mentioned it's only like 0.3 cm or 0.5 cm long, and it's very hard to be seen by our naked eyes unless it's a tapeworm. But worm per se you cannot see, but worms, their egg, their babies, sometimes they can get into the food, they can get into the water. So that's how usually when we ingest, right, we actually ingest the eggs rather than the worm itself. So the worm will enter our system, the eggs will enter our system, and then they hatch it in there, become worms, and cause, a lot of symptoms and also complication. I hope I answer you.
I see. Yeah. All right. Perhaps Doctor can go back to the complication slides.
Okay.
Yeah, because I believe there are a few of the audience, they couldn't really
understand, is it?
Understand English.
Can.
About those the intestinal obstructions. Yep. Probably can translate a little bit. Yeah, for it.
Intestine means our 大小肠, right? Obstruction means something 阻塞了. So when these worms are inside our system, especially if they are inside our intestine, so because worms are foreign body, they don't belong in our bodies, right? So our body will produce inflammatory markers to protect our cells, our tissue. So, and then worms themselves, they will also secrete their own punya, what do you call it? Their own inflammatory markers. So
就是说那个虫它在我们身体会排射出一些我们讲说是东西，就是它会排射出一些东西。
对，就是他们 worms 他们为了要在我们的身体里面可以住，他们也会 make themselves comfortable. So because it's a foreign body, 就是它不是在我们身体里面的，所以我们的身体也会排斥。So 我们的身体排斥，然后这个 parasites 也在 secrete 着他们自己的东西。So subsequently 就是会导致阻塞
两样东西阻塞。OK， 所以如果把简单来讲，其实就是Doctor 的意思呢 is like 那个虫呢在我们的肠胃里面，因为它是外面的东西来的，它不是属于我们体内的东西，所以这虫呢它会排射出一些我们讲说物质保护它自己，然后我们人体的肠也会排射出一些物质来保护我们的肠胃。
对，
因为虫 对我们人来讲，它是一个外来的东西，有点像恶魔这样子。所以当两样
对
那个物质被排出来，就会造成我们肠被阻塞。OK，好，
yes，
希望有回答你的问题。OK，right， so
谢谢你的华语。
most of them they say the worms like you, they feel like want to feel like they want to vomit.
Yeah, understandable.
Okay, so there's one question. Can we eat 6 or 10 egg? What do you mean
Sorry,
this
6
one?
what?
I also can't understand. Okay, then my next one is raw salads. It have vitamin, but can be can it mean what it means is a raw salad because it's a raw one. It has vitamin, but can it be eaten? Like, is that I think the question is this.
I mean, yeah, raw vegetables, as long as you clean it like properly, you have washed it thoroughly, then it's actually no problem. Rather than you don't just you don't just soak it with tap water. This is like very, very high risk, right? Instead, maybe you wash it under running tap, or you wash it or you soak it in salt water for a few minutes, just to properly kill whatever that needs to be killed, rather than terus makan the raw food.
Okay, how can? And one more question, how the worms die? We burn it. Okay, Cheryl, this one for this question, we will leave it to the end of the session because the other speaker will review to you. Okay, all right, so I believe that's almost all. Can the worm, there's one more. Can the worm eat our vitamin from food at our stomach?
Good question. No, it's good question. Okay, worms they don't feed on vitamins. They feed on our nutrition instead. They feed on our blood and all that. But vitamins is needed by us, not by the worm. Yeah.
Okay, Ken, I believe that is all from Dr. Carmen. All right. Okay, you can stop the screen. Okay. All right. Thank you so much for such a wonderful sharing, Dr. Carmen. All right. Before we proceed to the next session, okay, just a quick hint to all of you here. You guys have been very, very active in the first session. Okay, so do remember to take down notes and pay attention throughout the whole session because at the end, we will have quiz to answer and also special prizes to give away for the top 30. All right.